Governance, Administration and Finance Committee. Today we welcome committee members Councillor Taylor, Curtis, Wilkinson and Martin. We also welcome our guests, Deputy Mayor Gates and Councillor Hamill, and of course Councillor O'Neill, my peripheral vision, Councillor O'Neill, our very special committee member. And unfortunately Councillor Fowler is unwell and unable to join us today. So leave of absence for Councillor Fowler. Could someone, is someone willing to confirm the minutes from the last committee? Councillor Martin, seconder. A formal apology. Okay. Moved by Councillor Gates, seconded by Wilkinson. All in favour to accept Councillor Fowler's apology? Yes, thank you. Thank you. Confirmation of minutes. Moved by Councillor Martin, seconder Councillor Wilkinson. Any questions or queries about the last minutes? No? Okay, so happy to accept those. All in favour? Great, thank you. Anyone have conflicts of interest? Councillor Gates, do you have a declaration there? I've just got a note here. Councillor Gates on there. No? Okay. No, nothing. Okay, good. I don't know why it's noted on here. Okay, good. So we just look at the items here. I would like to unstar 5.1. Would you give me another agenda document? There's... Hang on, sorry. That's all right. I'm looking at the wrong thing. I'd like to unstar 5.1. Are there any other items anyone wishes to unstar? No. Okay. Right. Well, we'll get started on 5.1, which is just our forward planning schedule. I had a note with our directors. I had a discussion with our directors earlier in the week regarding a matter which isn't prescribed to come to committee, but I do think it's worth raising attention to the committee members. Regarding legal services for our city, the expiry on the agreement for who is on our panel, it expires in January 25. If we haven't completed it and done the work on it prior to then, well, then we'll have a problem and have to go out to procurement every time we want legal advice, which is pretty often. And this was brought to this committee in August last year, and all committee members have in front of them the item document. You'll see item 7.3 refers to the extension of expiring contracts where no extension options remain. So I wanted to raise, given that we've got quite a few new committee members who weren't here at that meeting, it was pretty clear, it was a pretty strong message from the committee and also from council that that would be the last time that we would be extending. Our ratepayers expect us to be, testing the market and making sure that this is accurate and good. So I wonder whether the EGM would consider presenting a report on the process, because if you look at page 117 of that item, it was a pretty comprehensive process of what we expected, as I imagine our ratepayers and in fact legal providers would. So may I ask that that be added to the forward item schedule? Just first check there and whether you're happy with that.
I don't mind a review, but I don't think you can do it as part of where you are, because this is a reflection of the forward items as agreed by council, and you're introducing a new one. I would have thought it would have been better placed as a general business item or as a question on notice at full council.
Well, I'll raise it at full council, but just so that you know. I think
I just don't think we can amend that.
That's fine.
Yes. Chair, just so you're fully aware, I did send, as you know, an update. We are progressing. We have significantly progressed with that legal services panel, so it's on track to be completed this calendar year. But we'll wait for the GB item. Yep.
I think maybe question on notice, just to make sure that process, we're comfortable with that process.
Sorry, and just so everyone's clear, this is a copy of what was presented to Council last August.
Correct.
Because some councillors thought it was a new agenda item for today.
Okay, my apologies.
But this is just a copy for information.
That's right.
Thank you.
Okay, so we'll do that then. So that it is an important item. It's one that we've got to make sure for good governance that we're not going to skip over, but we'll take that process and take it to the full council meeting. So I'm happy to move that item. If I got a seconder. Councillor Gates, all in favour?
Am I on this committee?
Oh, no, sorry, apologies. Councillor Wilkinson.
No, I'm not.
Yep.
So I shouldn't
all in favour? Thank you.
Shut up. It's just, I'm sorry to be confused. It's because I've been acting mayor and I think
I know,
I can do anything I
you
want.
were a committee member. You've been a committee member of everything. Okay, so let's go on. So our next item is 6.2, policy reviews, and looking at retiring these policies. So I'm happy to move this item. Oh, we haven't done the start item. I can do them afterwards. I'll do them after this one. So with this one, we have a lot of policies that can be considered to be double up on the Act. And so we have gone through and identified a number, particularly in this report, looking at the acting mayor policy, customer contact, disaster emergency management and protective security policy. I did just want to ask a question, if I may, regarding the customer contact policy. Because it was noted that it is reflective in the Act, and I do believe that it is. It's just an issue which I found recently when I made a personal call to my customer service centre to deal with a rates matter and was on hold for over an hour. And it made me realise, well, for me, I didn't think that was appropriate or something that would be consistent with our community, our expectations. So it's not to not retire the policy today, but I just wondered, whilst we're here, if we could find out what does it mean when we say access via all communications, and at what level would we consider an hour wait acceptable or not acceptable?
Sorry, through the chair, could I ask you just to repeat the question?
The customer contact policy identifies within it that there should be all modes of communication available with certain ease for our ratepayers. Given my experience of having to wait over an hour, I don't consider that in line with that policy, but I don't know what our rules are. So I was just wondering, it may not be that you can answer that today, but if that information could come back to councillors on what do we consider appropriate, at what level are we thinking we're not reaching our performance levels?
Thank you. Absolutely. Those matters are planned to be addressed through the Customer at the Centre program, which is a part of the work being led out of Services Gold Coast. And a key focus of that piece of work will be looking at the variety of channels for customers to come into the organisation and the relevant responses that are required in relation to that and the service standards to set through that. So there will absolutely be an opportunity for Council to be involved in that conversation.
When is that expected to come to Council, a report on that? And I don't know which committee it is, whether it's this committee or Livestock Communities.
Yeah, through you, Chair. I can take that on notice as far as timing,
Okay,
but
great.
yes, it will be Lifestyle and Community as part of that program.
Okay, well, that was all. I just wanted to flag that. I thought this was an appropriate place, but I don't consider retiring this policy needs to have any impact on that service standard or not, but it is something I'd like to have considered. Any other questions about this item, about the retirement of policies? Councillor Hamill?
So I was just trying to understand sorry, and I've lost the wording for it, the emergency management one. Where is it? Sorry, I've completely lost my pages.
Or do you want page 28, or are you looking at the attachment, the actual policy?
Just the name, the Disaster and Emergency Management Policy. So I can understand in the other ones where there's replications in acts or why there's no need for a policy because the power is invested completely with the Mayor to make the decision. But with this one, I couldn't understand why the need to retire it or what act it was connected to that means we didn't need a separate policy.
Through the Chair, it's in relation to the Disaster Management Act 2003, and as part of the Disaster Management Act 2003 there's a requirement for the city to have a local disaster management plan which must be reviewed and updated annually, and many of the contents contained within the policy are contained within the local disaster management plan, including aspects such as roles and responsibilities, which is a vast majority of the content of the current policy that's there.
So, Chair, can I just say, is there anything in the policy that's not reflected in the Act?
Through the Chair, the only one specific call out in the policy that hadn't been or one of the reasons for retaining the policy in the past had been in relation to the sandbagging issue, and at what point Council will or won't enact the sandbagging requirements for the city in an event, and it is basically the policy says that it's the requirement of the local disaster coordinator to make that decision, and that's been referred to the next review of the local disaster management plan, which I'm understood will actually come to Council at the end of this month as well. So the two should actually work together.
Councillor Gates?
If I could just add on that note, the DMU is far more responsive now to sandbagging since we've had heavy rainfall in the city over a number of occasions, and they've almost instantly made sandbags available, even in advance of a storm that's predicted. So I'm quite comfortable with that outcome.
Thank you.
Any other questions? No? Anyone like to move this item? Councillor Martin, seconder, Councillor O'Neill. All in favour? Thank you. So we're going to, I will move items 6.1, 6.3, 6.4, 6.5 and 7.1, all those start items.
7.1 starred? Not in the latest.
Oh, you'd like it open?
Is there a presentation?
If you wish one. Okay, so we won't start 7.1?
Yes, please.
Okay, so start items 6.1, 6.3, 6.4, 6.5. I'll move that. Seconder, Councillor Taylor, all in favour? Thank you. Okay, so we will go to item 7.1. Councillor Martin, did you have questions or would you like a presentation?
A short presentation if there was, Chair. And are we moving to close on that?
Can we have a short presentation or summary on that one?
We don't have we're going into close.
Yeah,
Yep.
we can do that.
We don't have one prepared.
That's all
but
right.
we can give an overview.
Okay, so we'll go into close for this. I'll move that. Do I have a seconder? And the reasons for that, pursuant to section 254J, part 3 of the local government regulation, because negotiations relate to a commercial matter. All in favour? Okay, and we're enclosed. Thank you. So we just had a brief summary of our surf network valuation process. And do I have a mover for this item? Councillor Martin, seconder Councillor Taylor. Would you like to speak to it, Councillor Martin?
No, thank you, Chair.
Okay, thank you. So all in favour? Great, thank you. Zooming through this one, our next item, another closed session report, is 7.2, the long-term accommodation plan assessment criteria and principles. So this report is to be considered and closed. Again, section to 254J, for the reasons that negotiations relate to a commercial matter involving the local government, or which a public discussion could prejudice the interests of the local government. So do I have a mover, Councillor Martin, seconder, Councillor Wilkinson, all in favour to go into closed? Moved. Thank you. very good. Well, we've had a conversation about the 7.2 criteria and principles. We have a mover for this item. Councillor Taylor, are you moving the item? And Councillor Wilkinson is seconding it. Would you wish to speak to it, Councillor Taylor?
I'll be short and sweet. It is a closed item. It's about a long-term accommodation plan criteria moving forward to assess our accommodation, what will be appropriate for our staff in our city. As we're growing, we will be getting more staff to obviously look after our city, and this is an important part of work that we need to consider moving forward, the appropriate location for all our staff of the city.
Okay, anyone wish to speak against the item? Does anyone wish to speak against the item? No. I'd like to also make a comment that our resolution in August 2023 really separated two key elements of our accommodation review. One of them was our short-term needs, where there were some urgent considerations that we addressed, but it was also specific in there that we would determine and prepare the long-term accommodation plan, a 10-year plus plan. So what we've done today is look at the types of, well, the criteria and the principles that we need to do to make a significant long-term decision for the city like that. I thank the officers for their work on this, and I will also support this recommendation. Anyone else wish to speak? Councillor Taylor, wish to close? No? All in favour? Okay, very good. And I think we can call the meeting closed at 2:32. Thank you.